Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most infamous and chilling unsolved mysteries in American history, the Black Dahlia murder. Who was Elizabeth Short, and what led to her brutal and gruesome death in 1947? Despite over 7 decades of speculation, theories, and investigations, the true identity of her killer remains a mystery. Join us as we explore the dark and twisted details of this case, the intriguing suspects, and the ongoing quest for answers. If you're fascinated by true crime and love unraveling mysteries, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for the full story of the unsolved mystery of the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short, also known as the Black Dahlia, was killed in 1947. This is one of Los Angeles' most notorious unsolved crimes. It was not only a horrifying crime, but also famously difficult to solve. What do we know about this case? Let's delve into it. Elizabeth Short's body was discovered in the Los Angeles neighborhood of Leimert Park on January 15, 1947. A mother on a morning walk with her child was the first to report the gruesome sight. Initially, she thought the way Short's body was positioned made it look like a mannequin. However, upon closer inspection, she realized the horror of the Black Dahlia crime scene. The 22-year-old Short had been completely drained of blood. Her body had been severed at the waist. Some of her internal organs, such as her intestines, had been removed and placed neatly beneath her buttocks. Flesh had been cut from her thighs and breasts. There was fecal matter in her stomach, leading some to believe she had been forced to ingest it before her death. The most terrifying features were the cuts on her face. The murderer had slashed her face from the corners of her mouth to her ears, creating what is known as a Glasgow smile. Los Angeles police concluded that she must have been killed elsewhere and then dumped in Leimert Park, as her body had been cleaned. Detectives found a heel print and a cement sack with blood on it next to her body, likely used to transport her to the vacant lot. The LAPD requested the FBI to check their fingerprint database. Short's fingerprints were quickly identified because she had applied for a job as a clerk at a military store and had been arrested for underage drinking by the Santa Barbara Police Department, leaving her fingerprints on file. This arrest occurred just 7 months after she secured the job. The FBI also provided the press with her arrest photo, and soon the media began to report on every scandalous detail they could uncover about Short. Phoebe Short, Elizabeth's mother, learned of her daughter's death when reporters from the Los Angeles Examiner called her, claiming Elizabeth had won a beauty contest to extract as much information as possible before revealing the tragic truth. Her daughter had been brutally murdered and mutilated. The press sensationalized the Dahlia murder investigation, branding Elizabeth Short as a sexual deviant. At the time of her death, it was known that she was acquainted with at least 50 men, and she had been seen with at least 25 men in the 60 days leading up to her death. Short was notorious for her flirtatious behavior. She was nicknamed the Black Dahlia due to her preference for wearing sheer black clothing, a nod to the then-popular movie, The Blue Dahlia. Some rumors falsely claimed that Short was a prostitute or that she enjoyed teasing men because she was a lesbian. Adding to her enigmatic persona, Short was described as an aspiring actress. She had been working as a waitress in Los Angeles after moving there 6 months before her death. Despite the high-profile nature of the case, the police struggled to identify the perpetrator. There were some leads, however. On January 21st, about a week after the body was discovered, a person claiming to be the killer called the Examiner and promised to mail Short's belongings as proof. On January 24th, the Examiner received a package containing photographs, business cards, Short's birth certificate, and an address book with the name Mark Hansen on the cover. The letter, constructed from newspaper and magazine clippings, read, "Los Angeles Examiner and other Los Angeles papers, here is Dahlia's belongings, letter to follow." No fingerprints were found on any of the items as they had been cleaned with gasoline. Although a partial fingerprint was found on the package, it was damaged during transit and could not be analyzed. Another letter arrived on January 26 reading, "Here it is. Turning in on Wednesday, January 29th at 10 a.m. Had fun with the cops, Black Dahlia Avenger." The letter included a location for a meeting, but the sender never appeared. Following the crime, the suspected killer sent another note made from magazine letters, stating, "I've changed my mind. You wouldn't give me a fair deal. The killing of Dahlia was justified." Once again, everything had been cleaned with gasoline, preventing detectives from obtaining fingerprints. At one point, more than 750 LAPD detectives were working on the case, and over 150 potential suspects were questioned. During the initial investigation, the police received over 60 confessions, none of which were deemed credible. Since then, there have been more than 500 confessions, but no charges have been made. As the case grew cold, many speculated that the Black Dahlia murder was the result of a date gone wrong, or that Short encountered a dangerous stranger while walking alone at night. The Black Dahlia murder case remains unsolved after more than 70 years. However, some intriguing and chilling theories have emerged in recent years. Steve Hodel, a retired LAPD officer, discovered 2 photos of a woman resembling Elizabeth Short while going through his late father's belongings in 1999. This discovery prompted Hodel to use his investigative skills to delve into his own father's past. He examined old newspapers, interviewed witnesses, and utilized the Freedom of Information Act to obtain FBI files on the Black Dahlia case. Additionally, he had a handwriting expert compare his father's writing to the notes sent to the press by the killer. The analysis suggested a strong possibility that the handwriting matched his father's, but it wasn't conclusive. The Black Dahlia crime scene photos revealed that Short's body had been severed in a manner resembling a hemicorporectomy, a medical procedure taught in the 1930s, which Hodel's father, a doctor, would have been familiar with. Hodel also found a receipt for a large bag of concrete in his father's records, purchased a few days before the murder, matching the brand and size found near Short's body. By the time Hodel began his investigation, many of the original police officers had passed away. Despite this, he meticulously reconstructed their discussions about the case. Hodel compiled his findings in a book titled Black Dahlia Avenger: The True Story, which became a bestseller in 2003. Steve Lopez, a Los Angeles Times writer, sought official police files to verify Hodel's claims and discovered something significant. Shortly after the murder, the LAPD had 6 primary suspects, one of whom was George Hodel. He was such a strong suspect that in 1950, the police bugged his house. While most of the recordings were mundane, one chilling conversation stood out. A woman screamed at 8:25 p.m., but no woman had been heard before the scream. Despite this startling new information suggesting George Hodel's involvement in Elizabeth Short's murder and possibly his secretary's, the Black Dahlia case remains open. Steve Hodel continues to investigate, believing his father could be linked to dozens of other deaths, potentially making him a serial killer. His research has even attracted police attention. In 2004, Stephen R.K., then head deputy for LA County, stated he would have charged George Hodel with Elizabeth Short's murder if he were still alive. In 2017, British author Pugh Eatwell claimed to have solved the decades-old case in her book, Black Dahlia, Red Rose: The Crime, Corruption, and Cover-Up of America's Greatest Unsolved Murder. She identified Leslie Dillon as the true culprit. Although police briefly considered Dillon a prime suspect, they eventually released him. Eatwell argued that Dillon, a bellhop, killed Short at the behest of Mark Hansen, a local bar and theater owner. Hansen, another suspect, owned the address book sent to the Examiner, which he claimed to have given Short as a gift. Hansen was reportedly one of the last people to speak to Short before her death on January 8th. Eatwell suggested Hansen had an interest in Short, which she rebuffed, prompting him to instruct Dillon to take care of her. Hansen may not have realized how dangerously unstable Dillon was. Eatwell also discovered that Dylan possessed knowledge about the crime that wasn't publicly known, including the detail that Short had a rose tattoo on her thigh, which had been cut out and inserted into her vagina. Dylan claimed he was writing a book about the Dahlia case, but it never materialized. Despite substantial evidence, Dylan was never charged, possibly due to Hanson's connections with corrupt LAPD officers. While we still don't know who killed the Black Dahlia, these recent theories present compelling cases. It's possible that the truth is out there, waiting to be uncovered by the right investigation. What intrigues you most about this video? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.